I heard on the way home from work one day that my unit, RMCB 12, had been called to active duty, and that was kind of a shock because we had very little time to prepare. And come to find out, we were the first CB battalion to be called up since World War II. Well, at that period of time in our country, the Vietnam, I'm not even sure that they had called it a war back then. It was always sort of like a conflict or a military action, but it was really war. And the country was worried a lot about it, and especially families were losing their sons and daughters over there. It was dividing the nation, and I never really gave much thought that I would be going to Vietnam, but that's what happened. No, we flew to Anchorage, Alaska, and then we flew to Japan to get fuel, and then we landed in Vietnam. And, we're all, I guess most of us was our first tour of duty, so didn't know what to expect. But we certainly found out what to expect when we landed in Vietnam at Da Nang Air Force Base in Vietnam. And we're taxiing on the runway, and there was this battalion of Koreans, or maybe it was the Vietnamese Army unit. You're looking out the window, and you could see the terror on the faces of these men who were getting ready to go into some conflict. That was an eye-opener. You knew you were there. So, anyways, we disembarked our aircraft and got onto trucks and headed somewheres down along the coast to where we were going to be stationed. And it was a funny thing. We got off the trucks, and I said to myself, "This is a mistake," because there was trash and there was debris, and it was just like going to a landfill in a way. When you got there, I said, "This is a mistake," but it wasn't a mistake. It was the real thing. We got our assignments. I was fortunate. I got to work in the carpenter shop. On the other side was the Marine base, right on the ocean, and that's what the VC were trying to reach all the time. They were lobbing orders, trying to reach it, because that's where all the helicopters were, and I don't think they cared too much about us. Well, you're scared to death. But Vietnam was a place where you didn't know who your enemy was a good part of the time, and what was you thought would be the safest place was not the safest place, because there was a facility not too far from us down the road where ships used to come in and unload materials, and there was barracks there, and then one night that was wiped out. It was all night long. There was explosions, and it was a bad scene. Conventional thinking of the time was that to prevent governments like North Vietnam and China and those that control their people, I guess basically you were fighting for freedom. Whether it was our freedom or their freedom, you were fighting to have people have a better life.